Picking up where we left off yesterday, I got a great question from a friend of Bunjie, Eric, Dual Threat Outdoors.
Should you write a company off after one downright bad, terrible, whatever word you want to use, experience? Should one experience doom a company for you as a customer, or should they get another chance, and why?
That is a great question, a great video topic. A while back, Genevieve had a bad experience with the old Excalibur, right? The limbs broke on that crossbow, and I kind of gave you my thoughts about that in my last video, and I wrote about this in my book, The Death by Bunjie Crossbow Method. To me, if you can't get the limbs to work on a crossbow, if that's a problem, I don't care if you warranty the limbs. It doesn't matter to me, because I don't want to lose time in the field, and I don't want to lose time in the 60-yard backyard just to get limbs replaced. For Genevieve, that's kind of soured her on the Excalibur, right? She doesn't like to crank that as much anymore.
Finally happened. It finally happened.
To me, that broken limb is just an inevitability. It's just going to happen because there's just too much tension on those limbs and they can't withstand it. It's that simple. You can do all the heavy arrow business you want. You can do all these other things. It doesn't change the fact that that's more than what the world is going to allow with that kind of material, that kind of crossbow. In my opinion, that's just my opinion. And it seems to be Genevieve's opinion. It seems to be something that concerns her. Still a hunter, still going to use that crossbow. I still can't convince her to go look at other models or anything like that. That's great. And I'm so thankful for that crossbow because it involves her in crossbow hunting and she loves it, and great. Okay, so we overlook certain things. My nephew Nick, on the other hand, had an experience with his Excalibur crossbow. That limb broke, and then he went to get it fixed at the local shop, had to play with the warranty and all this stuff, lost time afield. And he's a compound bow hunter anyway. This was his transition to crossbows potentially. He did kill a nice deer with it, and then this happened, and it was the limb broke, and kind of soured him on the crossbows, this bad experience. In talking to him, he made it very clear to me that he'll never buy another Excalibur product, will not use another Excalibur. It's that simple. Genevieve's had this bad experience with Bunjie Jr., and that might have soured her against Excalibur. I know it has with me, with modern Excaliburs. I love the OB, and it's not going anywhere. The Scorpyd Deathstalker and I have been back and forth a little bit. We've had our differences, but I really, really do appreciate that crossbow, and I've learned so much from it. I really do like that crossbow. But recently, in the 60-yard backyard, is having a little trouble keeping that crossbow tuned in, dialed in out to 60 yards. Doesn't this sound familiar? Wasn't I doing this last year during Crossbow Appreciation Month? Process of elimination. Perfectly tuned that crossbow. Very proud of my ability to do so. Everything's right up to factory specs, uncocked and cocked. So I'm down to, maybe it's the arrows, right? So I selected a single Deathstalker arrow and took that out there and shot that arrow once at 60 yards. It's like 3 inches to the left. Like, that's no good. Went down and got that same arrow, brought it back. With the factory nocks, I might add. So I'm eliminating that as well. Snap on the second arrow, shoot that, and it's 4 inches high. That's not a good group. So I go down, get the arrow, bring it back, shoot again, and now it's missing the target. I have come to the conclusion that my Burris Oracle X, a scope that I love, the first one that I bought, is not holding true. I want to love this scope, okay? I really do. I want it to be the solution to pinpoint accuracy issues that you don't get with a speed ring scope. That technology now exists. Whether this is the proper one for me is now in question. In making this video, I'm just talking this through, right? Because this is new. This is developing information for me. So I don't have an answer for everybody as to what I'm going to do, and I certainly don't have an answer as to what you should do. But I have this hesitation now about these scopes, about whether that technology is here yet. If I'm having this issue in 50% of the Burris Oracle X's I bought, right? That's 2 of them. I don't know. Now, Burris has a great warranty, but it's going to take me 2 weeks to get one back, probably at least. And meanwhile, I'm without a scope. I bought another one, so now I have 3 of these scopes in theory. So, Friend of Bunjie, Eric, I don't know the answer to your question. Well, no. The answer to your question is yes. There are times when I write off a company. It's that simple. I had a Chevy Trailblazer, and I'll tell you this, I will never own another Chevy product as long as I live, because I drove that Chevy Trailblazer, and it was a piece of crap. It would take a great effort on the part of Excalibur to convince me and Genevieve and my nephew Nick to purchase another Excalibur. The modern Excaliburs just aren't doing it for us. It would take a Herculean change on their part to convince me to go back to an Excalibur. That's probably true. I'm not saying you shouldn't shoot an Excalibur. I'm not saying it at all. If you like them, great. But to Friend of Bunjie Eric's question, that certainly is appropriate in my view for certain products. If I have this problem again, if I have another Burris Oracle X that goes down, I will not tolerate that. I have zero tolerance for equipment that does not get the job done. I'm coming from a place where I've hunted with the same crossbow for 13 complete seasons, going on season 14. And when Bunjie Jr. went down, this is the crossbow that stepped up and filled the void, right? That filled that gap so that we could still hunt during that meet and greet. You remember that?
Oh! So that's called a bullseye at 40. Did you see the arc on that arrow?
That was a big moment for me in Death by Bungie's ever evolving crossbow story. This is a $500 crossbow from 2010, and it's still working perfectly. They just don't build them like they used to. You know, you can spend twice that on a scope that is a wonderful piece of equipment. It really is. But if I have to sit in a tree stand and worry at all about whether this is accurate or about whether Bunjie 3.0 is accurate, that's a problem. I don't do that, right? I'm not going to sit in a tree stand and wonder if my equipment is going to function properly if I pull the trigger. I only sit in a tree stand or sit in a blind when I know that my equipment is going to perform. And if the equipment can't do that, Friend of Bunjie Eric, yeah, it's gone. Jury's still out on that Oracle X. We're going to find out, right? That story ever evolving, ever developing here on Death by Bunjie. Until next time. All hail Bunjie.